Sonic had a big year in 2022, and honestly today I really want to go over what I think is going to be the upcoming game and potential project that's going to be releasing in 2023. Now obviously, in the last video we've talked about Sonic Origins Plus and how obviously that just got announced and when it's coming out, but today I really want to go into what is really the official next game that I think is going to be releasing, and I think is for sure actually coming out this year, and that is a 2D modern Sonic game. Yeah, that's right. I believe a 2D modern Sonic game is releasing this year, and I really hope that that is the case because I really do want something new and fresh for at least the 2D Sonics. Now obviously a lot of people obviously would want a 3D Sonic game, a brand new one of course, but I feel like they need to build the foundation from the Sonic Frontiers' success with some different variety of content that can be released throughout the span of the next few years or so until Sonic's potential next anniversary. Again, Frontiers was an incredible game, and I feel like Sega knows that Sonic Frontiers had a very good success, especially for the company and how it was well received by the general public. So I really do believe that Sega knows at this point, they recognize that they need to release more content and more different games, more different stuff for Sonic. Obviously they need to build around Sonic, right? They need to continue to build on the foundation that they have because of Frontiers' success from last year. And I think 2023 is a good year to continue through that path and through that span that Frontiers had. Again, I think a 2D modern Sonic game is incredible to have, and I honestly hope that it is going to be the case this year. And there's a reason why I think for sure this is coming out. One, because of that, but two, if we take a look at all the 2D modern Sonic games, for instance, that basically includes the Advanced Trilogy and the Rush games and the Colors DS game, I am a firm believer that this is the year where we actually get the next 2D Sonic game. Now, I basically want to go through basically everything that has happened throughout the last year. In the last year, we've gotten so many reports and headlines saying that we're potentially getting an actual new 2D modern Sonic game, and they've always said 2023. And I'm actually a person that actually believes this stuff, because the reason is, I feel like it makes perfect sense because they know about this Frontiers' success, and obviously, with more games, comes even more, positivity coming for the series, of course, if the games, of course, are good. Now, I do think it's really difficult somehow to fuck up a 2D game, especially because I think Sega is masters at doing pretty good work when it comes to 2D stuff, so I have no doubt that they will do great in that department. But it matters of what kind of 2D modern Sonic game that can potentially come out. And in my opinion, I feel like there could be a combination of both. I feel like in terms of the base game, I feel like the base game could have the base gameplay of Advanced, but also have the boost formula that Rush had. Now basically what does that mean? Well, if you look at Rush and Rush Adventure, you basically said that the gameplay is fully going insane because it's all built for the boost formula. Advanced was more so like going back to the classics and making the level design basically with the classics, but with the modern Sonic design, of course. And I think that is what's going to happen, but they'll add the boost formula as like, an extra gameplay feature for it. Obviously the Rush Adventure, and the Colors DS game all had the boost formula, and they all worked through those types of levels because of the boost being implemented in the game. However, I do think that the Advanced Trilogy, if it has the base gameplay of that, then I think the 2D modern Sonic game is going to be great. Now, is this game going to have sprites? In my opinion, I believe that the next 2D modern Sonic game is going to have potentially sprites or a cartoon style look. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like, for one, I just think it's an easier way to get the game out as soon as possible. And two, if I'm really predicting that the game is going to be coming out at some point this year, I actually really do hope that they do the sprites or whatever they're planning to do. I'm totally fine with the 3D, style on the 2D. It's just a matter of how they execute it. Another thing is multiple playable characters. I really hope. Now, another thing is multiple playable characters. Can that be a possibility? In my opinion, yes. The fact that Frontiers is already having reports about the DLC updates, obviously the first one just came out, and the second one is looking to possibly add more playable characters like Tails, Knuckles, Amy. Honestly, I feel like the 2D modern Sonic game, if you're going to release a 2D game, I feel like you have to have more playable characters than just Sonic. I feel like if you're really going to do that, I feel like Sonic really can't be the only option to play as here. So this is what I think. I feel like Tails, obviously that's a given. I feel like he would have to always be another playable character if you're going to have multiple playable characters. He's essentially the second biggest character, obviously, to play as other than Sonic. So yes, Knuckles, also another given. I feel like he has to be another playable character if that's the case. Amy, that would be cool. Obviously, she just got added. We obviously see that she's going to be playable in the 2D classic games and Sonic Origins Plus, so that's cool. Honestly, I would love Shadow in a 2D sense. I would love to see how he would do in a 2D style game, so I would really actually love to see that. And this is way too insane. This would be highly not likely, but I would actually love Silver to be in this, because I think Silver and his stuff would be cool. Again, Silver, literally the only time we've been able to play as him is in 06 and Riders. So I would really love if we could play as Silver. Obviously, he's only playable and that in Zero Gravity. So I'm really hoping. Oh yeah, and of course, Free Riders. But I would really love Silver to potentially have a game again in the, hopefully in a platformer and in another basic like Sonic game other than like a racer or something like that, where he's actually playable. I would love for that to happen. So yeah, now when I think the game could potentially release, if I'm for sure thinking this is going to come out, I'm really positive this game could potentially come out later on in the year. I honestly could see, if this is going to be a game that does release this year, I could potentially seeing it being announced during the summer and then releasing around like October or November. That's kind of like where I look at it right now in the grand scheme of things of how this year's already going. Again, they're already going to have Plus as the summer title, so I'm hoping that the 2D Modern Sonic game does come out eventually at the end of the year. That's really what I'm hoping for, because I think 2024 is going to be a big year for Sonic as well, and I'm hoping that, again, they can continue building on what they had for Frontiers. And I feel like every year since after Frontiers' release, post-Frontiers, I really hope that every single year has something releasing. And so that's why I'm also for sure thinking that a 2D Modern Sonic game has to be coming out this year. So yeah, that's basically what I think. I really hope that this is the case. But the last thing I guess I will say is what consoles this has to run on, right? I think easily it's gonna run on everything. PS5, PS4, Series X, the One, Switch, PC. Probably if it's on PC, it's definitely gonna be. I hope it's between both Steam and Epic Games Launcher. I hope it's not just only Epic Games Launcher. I hope it does come out on eventually both. But I do think it's gonna come out on basically everything. I mean, it's a 2D game. Why wouldn't it come out on everything, right? But yeah, I think a 2D Modern Sonic game is very likely actually to happen. Again, it's been rumored, it's been reported for so many news headlines for the last year, and I really do think it has the potential to come out this year. And I am a firm believer, and I am very positive that it will be coming out this year. It's only a matter of when it's gonna get announced. And this video, could be outdated later down the road, but I will still look back at this video and still appreciate the fact that I still had the positivity, and I did believe it in myself, that I did believe that a 2D Modern Sonic game is coming out this year. And even if it did not come out this year, I'm a firm believer it'll probably come out the next year anyway, so I mean, there we go.